Hi everyone, my name is Morgan and welcome to setting up your typewriter. So if you're like me, you have an old typewriter, no questions asked. I'm going to teach you how to set yours up. So today we are setting up the Brother Deluxe typewriter. I'm going to teach you everything from start to finish how to type using this wonderful piece of technology. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to lift the front part off. This is googly eyes. This is what we're working with. It's our Brother Deluxe. It's a portable typewriter. It comes with a little case. It's really great. Let's take a look in. And we're just going to jump right into it with installing your ribbon. So the typewriter ribbon for the Brother Deluxe looks like this. And whee! Looks like this. Okay, so you can see there's this little metal piece right here. That's to stop the ink ribbon from continually spinning out and tearing and, you know, getting all busted up when you're trying to continue typing without a ribbon. So let's show you how to set it up. You can't. It's going to be hard to see on this because the spot that you put your ribbon in is really, really tiny. But let's see if I can show it to you. When I press a key, you're going to see this part right here lift up. Well, maybe you're not because it's so friggin' tiny. Oh, it's not lifting up. Well, already we've got some problems. What did I do wrong? Oh, that's right. You got to turn your typewriter on. I know that's kind of a strange concept, but it's true. So when this is pushed all the way down, your typewriter won't work at all. It's kind of like turning it off so that you can't just go in and bang the keys and mess up whatever's being worked on. So you have to lift this up. It's going to pop up like this, and then when you type, you can actually type. So this piece here, you can see I'm lifting it. You lift it up and it's got two little slots on either side with a tiny little opening. And what you're going to do is squeeze your ink ribbon into that. So I'm just going to place this gently on top of these two spots here. There's this one here and this one here. It's got a little piston that the thing goes through. You just move that aside, put that on to the top loosely. Make sure that this is not going all crimped, and then this right here is for you to put your ribbon into to stabilize it while it's being pulled out of your typewriter spool, your ribbon spool, and that metal piece has to be behind this metal piece. So that little circle piece has to be behind this when you stick it in. So I'm going to stick it in now. As you can see, I'm just winding it back this way. And then I'm going to wind, unwind, woo! And do the same thing over here. Just making sure. Okay, so now lift this up. The ribbon is going to go behind this metal piece. And into the little feed spot. There's a metal piece behind it that you can't see right now. It doesn't go behind, it stays in front of that. Okay? Now, and make sure on this side too, there's a little metal spot for you to stick your ribbon into. There's that. So when you turn it this way, you should hear that clicking sound. And you should be able to turn it this way. If you can't turn it this way, that is because you have to move your typewriter ribbon. I think one of these has to move. Oh yeah, this. So your little metal piece here has to move like this. And then this one will go. And when it's moved like that, this one won't go. And when the typewriter ink runs out, then they shift. That little metal piece pulls them and it shifts so it stops the ink from going. And you can see when you type, this, every time you pull the key, this pulls the little gear and moves the ink ribbon slightly this way. Okay, so that's set up. Now your ink ribbon is installed. Now it's time to set up your page. I have with me regular 11.5 by 11 inch by 8.5 inch paper, regular paper that you get out of your photocopier. And to set up your page, first you want to set up your margins. You set them up with these two things here. There's a little red line that will show you exactly the measurement where your margin is. So what I would do is there's a little ruler here, 0 to whatever the heck, I don't know, numbers. Stick your page on top of the ruler, and I'm going to give myself 10, whatever that measurement is. I'm not sure if it's centimeters or I think it's inches. But anyway, I'm going to do 10 on this side, and I'm going to do the same amount on this side. So I'm pushing my button down, and when I push it down, it lets me move it. So I'm pushing it all the way over so that the red line winds up with the 10. And then on this side, it's, yeah, these are inches. It's 8.5. So I'm going to do the same thing and push my margin button down and move my margin button so that the red line lines up with 7.5 over here. So now my page is, the margins for my page are set up. So let's talk about feeding the paper into the typewriter. There are these little handles here. I don't know what this one does, but this one, there's a little mechanism inside that pushes towards this rolly part and keeps the paper snug against it so that it feeds through properly. So you can put your paper in and make sure that this is pushed back. And when you put it in, it will sort of line up to the rolly part, and you can start turning this right here, turning it towards you, and it will feed the paper through. Okay? Now your paper's been fed through. Now you want to use this to decide the spacing. Oh wait, hold on. Did we finish setting up our page? Yeah, now we're on to formatting your type. Your page is ready. Now it's time. This is the hard part, to format your type. So there's a bunch of different steps first. So first thing is you want to decide the spacing between the lines of type. So you want to make sure this right now is at 0 because that's where we start. I'm going to do 1 spacing between my lines. You can do 1.5, you can do 2, and it will make your lines further and further away from each other as you type. For some reason that's still not lifting, so that's set up, and then I want to set up my tab. So you know when you press tab on your computer and it automatically gives you a space? You have to do that manually on a typewriter, and the way that you do that is there's also a little ruler in here that you can't see on the screen, but you can see it on the bottom of your typewriter. So, oh yeah, see these buttons here? You use these to push them forward, and then your typewriter will just move freely like this. This is used to pick up and stop where you want to go, pretty much. So I am moving my typewriter so that it lines up with the 10 that's in the ruler here. So that's where my margin is. And if you see, I'll try to move it past the margin, and it won't move past. So it stops here. If I move my margin further in, let's say to 20, then my typewriter wouldn't go past this spot here, which is where the 20 is. Okay? So I line it up to the margin, and then I'm going to press 5 times on the space bar. 2, 3, 4, 5. And then right here, I'm going to press down on that, it says S. I'm going to use it for stop. And you press down, and what that does is it makes an extra margin stop that when you use these, it goes past it. But when you use this tab button here, so here I am, I'm back at my first margin at 1 inch. And then I'm going to use my tab button here. And now it just moved me 5 spaces to my next margin. When you want to go down the next line, you want to like press enter. You take this, you push it to the side, and hold it until it goes all the way to the margin. So that's how you set up your tab, and that's how you can enter to a tab each time, okay? You can set up more than one tab if you want to. Let's say you're making like columns. You can make columns by setting up tabs that way, right? I'm going to turn this backwards so that my page is back to the front here. And I have to figure out why this isn't lifting this. I can't remember why. So I'm doing a little bit of legwork here. Oh, I think it's this thing here. Let's see. Nope, it's not. All right. So what is it then? Well, I can't remember. So you just gotta look at your typewriter. You just have to look at it and see where pieces are connecting to one another. This right here is connected. It's not that. Oh, I didn't press the button. This button right here decides what ink to use. If none of these buttons are pressed down, then your typewriter ribbon is not going to come up and get hit by the keys for you. So my typewriter ribbon just has black ribbon in it. You can see there's a white button, a black button, and a red button. Some typewriter ribbons have a black and a red color in the ribbon, and you can choose by clicking on these which of those colors you'd like to use, and then you press this to clear the selection. So you press your black and then make sure that your page is set up all the way here to the margin. I want to enter down a couple of lines to make my margins a little more even. I usually go 2 lines down with 1 line space in between. So I'll show you how to enter like that. It's 1, 2. And then you should be typing. Let's press the tab button so I'm typed in. There you go. Once upon a time. And now your typewriter should be typing. So I'll teach you how to type with your typewriter. Once that's all set up, stick your big bootylicious Brother Deluxe typewriter top back on. Put some stickers on it if you want. Okay, so now we're going to start talking about typing. So you have lowercase letters and uppercase letters, just like a regular typewriter. You're missing some features on a keyboard. There's some things that you just don't get to have when you're doing a typewriter stuff. If you want to use any of these exclamation points and apostrophes and plus or minus or anything like that, you have to shift your typewriter. So shifting your typewriter are these 2 buttons here, and when you hold them down it lowers this whole section, and that makes it so that when you press the keys, the keys have the lowercase and the uppercase on top of them in different spots, and when it's lowered the top part of the key will hit, and when it's up the bottom part key will hit. So if you want, let's say, exclamation points and I don't know, brackets or anything like that, you've got to press shift and then you can get them. Otherwise you'll just be pressing on numbers and stuff like that. So is there anything else? Yes, the last thing is if you want to have caps on, your caps button is this right here. You press this and it locks your shift in place, and to unlock your shift you just click on the shift buttons again and they will release for you. The last button that I'll talk about is this one right here. This is your tension for your keys. So your keys can have they can be pressed down. They're harder to press down or they're easier to press down. I can't tell much of a difference between the tension, and I've been typing for a long time. And so, you know, it's up to you how you want to do it. And the last thing that I'll mention is this button right here. I don't know what this button does. So there you go. And that's pretty much how to set up and use your Brother Deluxe typewriter. And so if you guys happen to have a manual typewriter, which is what this is, a lot of manual typewriters work the same way, in the same basic function. They have to be fed the ribbon pretty similarly. The setup for the margins and everything else is very similar as well. And if you're finding that you're having a hard time figuring out why your typewriter isn't working, I always try to open this up, press a key, look at which piece inside of the typewriter is moving in connection to other pieces, and that will usually lead you towards finding a solution to get your typewriter working. Right, so that's how I found out the ribbon problem, was by pressing the keys and lifting up the part that was supposed to lift up and seeing what it was connected to, and that eventually brought me towards that black button, and that's how that happened. Okay, so I guess that's it. I'll show you, before I do that, I'll show you the difference between the margins. If you make a mistake, you can press that and go back. There's the little ding that everybody loves. Once you hear that ding, you have seven spaces left to finish up your words. So there, I'm at the end now because I was 3 in. So it's kind of a learned experience. The best bet is when you hear the ding, get ready to separate your word. So the word that I was on was fingers. When I heard the ding, what I should have done was finish typing F-I-N and then dash and then enter to finish the word fingers, because there just isn't enough room otherwise. So that's something that you learn through practice, is how to format this side of the margin here. That's pretty much it. And now that I've typed what I wanted to type, you can also just release this if you want. You can pull it out and release it like that. Here's what we've typed. Here's where I used the tab, and here's where I just used just the margin. So there you go. That's how you can use a typewriter. It's easy once you do it. And by the way, you can find these really often in places like Value Village for 20 or maybe even less dollars. I got this one for $20, and I got my electric typewriter for about $15. So keep your eye out. They're easy to use, and you can still buy the ribbons from even places like Amazon. You can still get everything that you need to use your typewriter. And the chances of it being broken, I find, are very slim for the manual ones because they're built to last a long time. If you've got 20 bucks, I'd say take a chance, buy the typewriter, see if it works, and happy typewriting, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I don't know why I made this video. Bye!